There's a tunnel in Japan so terrifying that many locals refuse to drive through it after sunset. Not because of ghosts, not because of monsters, but because people claim they hear something far more disturbing: the voices of their dead family members. And according to some witnesses, those voices know things they shouldn't. Imagine driving alone late at night. The road is empty. Your headlights are the only source of light. The tunnel entrance appears ahead of you like a giant black mouth carved into the mountainside. You enter. The temperature suddenly drops. The air feels heavier. And then you hear your name. Not shouted, not whispered, spoken softly, like someone sitting right beside you. The first reports of this phenomenon began decades ago in rural Japan. The tunnel itself isn't famous on tourist maps. In fact, most people outside the region have never heard of it. But among locals, the stories have spread for generations. Many believe the tunnel was built near the site of several tragic accidents. Others claim workers died during construction. And some insist the mountain itself has always been haunted. For years, drivers reported hearing strange sounds while passing through. At first, authorities dismissed the claims. Echoes, wind, the imagination. But then the stories became harder to explain. One driver claimed he heard his grandmother's voice. The strange part? She had been dead for nearly 20 years. As he drove deeper into the tunnel, the voice became clearer, calling his childhood nickname, a nickname nobody outside his family knew. The man later admitted he nearly stopped the car to answer. Another witness reported hearing her deceased father. She said his voice sounded exactly the way she remembered. Not distorted, not ghostly, perfectly normal, like he was sitting in the passenger seat. She described feeling an overwhelming urge to pull over and follow the sound. Thankfully, she kept driving, because according to local legend, that's exactly what the tunnel wants. The most terrifying stories all share the same detail. The voices never sound threatening. They sound comforting, familiar, trustworthy, almost loving. That's what makes them dangerous. People who hear the voices often describe feeling calm at first, then strangely hypnotized, as if something is pulling them toward the darkness. Several local legends warn that anyone who follows the voice deeper into the tunnel may never return. Of course, there's no proof of this, but the rumors continue to spread. One of the most famous stories involves a university student. Late one rainy night, he decided to test the legend himself. He entered the tunnel carrying a video camera. At first, nothing happened. The footage showed only darkness and the sound of dripping water. Then, suddenly, the student stopped walking. He turned toward the tunnel wall, as if someone had spoken to him. The camera audio captured him quietly saying, "Mom." The problem was his mother had died years earlier. Moments later, the footage became shaky. The student appeared terrified. He ran toward the exit. When he finally reached daylight, he refused to explain what he had heard. Friends later claimed he never returned to the tunnel again. Then there are the recordings. Over the years, several visitors attempted to capture evidence. Most recordings contain nothing unusual, but a handful include strange sounds, faint voices, whispers, words that are difficult to understand. Skeptics argue that these noises are simply echoes, audio distortion, or people hearing what they expect to hear. And honestly, that explanation makes sense. Human brains are incredibly powerful, especially when fear is involved. Psychologists have studied similar phenomena for years. When people are placed in isolated environments, they can sometimes misinterpret ordinary sounds. A distant drip of water, a gust of wind, a vehicle passing outside. The brain fills in the gaps, sometimes creating voices that aren't really there. But here's where things become unsettling. Many witnesses claim they heard specific phrases, private memories, family nicknames, personal details that nobody else could possibly know. And that's much harder to explain. Some paranormal researchers believe the tunnel acts as a kind of emotional trigger, a place where grief, memory, and fear combine. Others think something far stranger may be happening. According to one local belief, spirits of the dead become trapped between worlds, unable to move on, desperate to reconnect with the living. And if that's true, Perhaps the voices aren't trying to scare people. Perhaps they're trying to reach them. But there's another theory, a much darker one. Some legends claim the voices aren't family members at all. There's something else, something pretending to be them, something that knows exactly what you need to hear. And if you follow it, you may never find your way back. Whether the tunnel is truly haunted or simply the perfect environment for fear and imagination, nobody knows for sure. What we do know is this: the stories continue. Even today, drivers still report hearing familiar voices. Tourists still visit hoping to experience something supernatural. And locals still avoid the tunnel after dark. Not because they're certain the legend is true, but because they're not completely sure it's false. And sometimes, that tiny possibility is the most terrifying thing of all. So if you ever find yourself driving through a lonely mountain tunnel in Japan late at night, and you suddenly hear the voice of someone you lost years ago, whatever you do, keep driving. And don't answer. Subscribe now for more terrifying urban legends, real mysteries, and horror stories from around the world. Because the deeper you go into these legends, the darker they become.